Alrighty, everybody. How y'all doing? We out here. Welcome to the first episode of the Barrel City podcast with your host, the one and only, the Sounding the Great. You know what I do. You know what I'm a part of. So we out here. We making a lot of different moves. We got a lot of different scripts going on. We are on top of things, man. Welcome. So you know what I gotta say. I want to appreciate everybody that's came through, heard me, listened to me. First off, been following me since Amazon. You've made it onto Studio Jack. You know, still check me out there. I'll be back on there soon. I ain't gonna be doing too much talking. I'm gonna get a little tidbits and different opportunities, but you know, check me out on there, especially if you have Apple Music or Spotify as your audio listening. I'll be playing a lot of music on there as always. You know, I got different pods and different playlists to draw out and just have a good time. Sometimes, you know, you don't want to pop out, and sometimes we just need to have us a little party at the crib. So, you know, make it happen. We out here, man. I definitely got to get this intro to, you know, everything we're going towards the future of, just looking at our podcast as a whole. You know, we're going to bring in a lot of different opportunities. What a lot of people don't even know is we got so many new things coming through for us to just change this outlook, man. This podcast is going to be about, you know, from a relationship with God to sports to even anything you can think of, from us talking about just pop culture. You know, I'm generally always going to be interested to know what people going from and what you got going on. And the biggest thing I want to also bring into attention is we doing a lot of different things involving local music, local artists. So you're going to definitely, on this show, in time, we will be exploring different artists, different local people. If you know people, let them know, like, this is where you're going to find where we're going to give you your shot. On this podcast, you're going to get a combination of me. You're going to get a combination of where I'm going to promote music at. You're going to also get a combination of talking about movies and overall just getting the most talented people art-wise to see us, man. This is the Barrel City podcast. This is the epitome of what I will create as the platform which will project the reality of what the Barrel City really means. This is the Barrel City. You know, Jacksonville, Florida, if you don't know, is a city that a lot of people don't even know it's just been for years been held in so much scrutiny of a city you just ain't gonna get out of here without having a hole in you. That's just to keep it honest with you. So I just want to give that outlook, a vision, and even an opportunity for people who may not be able to move past the city. We just give an opportunity where you can possibly heard, seen, and we can blow this up bigger than anything we ever did. Something on something positive and on something that we can keep real. So as the future holds, and hopefully, God forbid, allow us to make this a vision that can change a lot of people's lives. And at the end of the day, just to put a light on my city. Even though crabs in this barrel, they're going to make sure you don't get out. But in this city, I'm going to make sure somebody going to take the top off. A lot of people going to take the top off. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it raw. We're going to keep it with a originality of the host you got right here. The signing full solid all the way through. The man you already know. I hold no punches. We will be doing live interviews, and we'll be doing a lot of different things in this city. So I'm looking forward to just spotlighting, talking, and doing what I do. We were 100% free here. And you know what I say? I'm living it with God. I'm raw, I'm real, and I'm going to keep it authentic to who I am. And ain't nothing going to change from that. So you already know. We're going to get into it. Yeah. Gotta give God the glory most and everything for everything that goes on, especially with God. So I sit here and just give an opportunity just to look at how powerful our Father can really be, you know. And, you know, if you know me and you know how I run this show, like, biggest thing is I got to give it the glory to God for what he's already done in my life and many more that I can't even touch. So first and foremost, I have to sit here and say, just lead us into prayer. Heavenly Father, I say, just guide us and show us the ways in which your love is so fulfilling, giving us an opportunity to just see where your love is so full and so optimum and just ready to give so much that even some of us can never imagine how great and how powerful a situation can be. I said, God, cover us for the things in which we don't know. Guide us for the things in which we shall learn, and just show us how much you can actually just change the way our lifestyle can be rearranged. Like, it's nothing like the power of what you can do for us, God. And from that many ways of just being taken from bad times to good times, I say, Lord, just guide us into the new central, a new space, a new love. And I thank you, God, for just being there for me and for so many. Amen. And I want to add this in, with this new segment of me going into my show and just giving God thanks, because a particular scripture that came up to me, it was Psalms 138, 1-8, a prayer of thanksgiving, as it's being detailed to me. This is how I'm going to read it to you. I thank you, Lord, with all my heart. I sing praise to you before the gods. I face your holy temple, bow down and praise your name because of your consistent love and faithfulness, because you have shown your name and your commands are superior, supreme. He's answered me when I called you. With your strength, you strengthen me. All the kings in the world will praise you, Lord, because they have heard your promises. They will sing about what you have done and about your great glory, even though you are so high above. You are care for the lowly and proud, cannot hide from you. When I am surrounded by troubles, you keep me safe. You oppose my angry enemies and save me by your power. You will do everything you have promised. Lord, your love is eternal, complete. The work that you have done hath begun. And I say with that, even with my own problems and corrections and just the things I struggle with, this scripture just breaks down the details of just being so thankful for the fact that his love is so superior and so complete. Like, this is pretty much a call out to just let you know how beautiful and how great God really is. And just really a love letter to how much we really should appreciate the peace that he gives, the promises, but also the things in which we don't even know. He just is already there. Like he said, you oppose my angry enemies. And you got to think about it. These are different times. It's different ways in how enemies can be detailed, but more important, we all got one op in general, and that's the devil. And I think a lot of people got to understand, the devil is our op. He does not want to see us succeed, and the love that we have to have for one another has to be complete. So regardless of anything that we ever look at or change, we got to look at the sense that God has always been superior, and he's always going to be supreme by the things in which we struggle with. Nobody's perfect. It don't matter how much you fell off. Yeshua, Yahweh, the Father, the Son, the Spirit, that Trinity has never changed or forsaken us. So I say, just with, the purity in our hearts and understanding that the great glory that we have from our Father is always there. So just continue to remember that he answers your prayers. He's there for you. He strengthens you. He loves you. And no matter what, you just got to stay consistent. For, God is always going to make sure you're good. So, just that tidbit, I wanted to share that with y'all. We're going to dig deeper into the show, man. So let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? Civil War review, bruh. I know, kind of late. I seen this movie a while ago, and I just wanted to talk about just the crazy impact. I don't think a lot of people understand. This movie was on a whole different level of just the skill and just the overall, just the way the writing was done on this film was just spectacular. How I'm looking at this film, I'm looking at it from a different aspect. So many different things went on in this movie that people just don't even get. I was looking back at this film and just the photography, the level of just how they identify the art. The people I know that's true artists, you see this in a whole different light. I'm looking at this and just so many different things are coming in my mind. I'm looking at how the scene is being identified for the cinematography. Like, it's just a whole different breed of just like how they really are looking at this image of like how war's gonna look. Like, people don't understand. Like, what I seen more importantly coming from Civil War was like the attack on the Capitol, which was probably a pivotal moment in American history that we understand was important, but it's really the identification of where we actually are in a country's like mindset. Like, this shit is possible. This shit is possible. I think a lot of people draw from the fact of just the presidential aspect. I think it's just by the aspect that when you combine a whole bunch of motherfuckers from around the world with varying different opinions and a lot of different varying things involving isn't God based. A lot of it not even just religion based. It's just about overall just division of just everything. We just got a lot of just divided culture. And I've been around a lot of different people and I've seen a lot of different things, but one thing I realize is when it comes down to that divide of just generally just the culture of us, me and you, don't matter black, white, Indian, Asian, I don't do that purple green bullshit. Like, excuse me, but I'm gonna keep it 1K with you. We're gonna cuss and I'm gonna keep it a K with you. This is a different level of the breed of how we really handling ourselves. Like, when you really look at this like on a bigger scale, Civil War really was identification of like what really was going on behind the walls. Like, when you look at like all the different things that were going on with like how like the cities that varied and broke off was kind of like, what can I say, almost a dramaticated way. Like, they saying California would did their own thing. True, maybe, but California, like, biggest thing is they're gonna manually work on like robotics and shit like that, like on that kind of aspect. Like, when you really think about overall like the importance of how California would have ran shit, they're not gonna run that like no people gonna just diverge and shoot. Like, they ain't got no killers like that. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody. Like, they really ain't got no killers. Like, no natural killers out there that's gonna really bop and get into something like that are basically on just no fact of politics. We know that's based on a certain group of people who are generally more considerate of gunplay, talk about gunplay, generally have most of the mass shooters under their name. I'm not trying to sit here and say that it's a political side to these things. I don't think there's a political personal side to how people are really running this. I think when you looked at Civil War, they tried to identify as many of just generally conservative countries. It's just what it is. You just, you're going to make Colorado and the Midwest seem like some old peacekeepers, but at the end of the day, the Midwest is still one of those pivotal places where, Brown against a board of education and shit like that, identifying like different laws, the show me state. Like, you're looking at just different general things that you think about, like the Midwest. You almost tried to like identify Chicago as not being a place that would have became a pivotal place where the Civil War would have hit. Like, the minimization of black people in Civil War was kind of hilarious. The minimalization of most minorities in it. Like, of course, we're not going to sit here and just, conjoin that. We're looking at that everybody would just have different takes, but, it's certain people that benefit from the country working well that are minorities. Like, it's certain things in Civil War where, like, it could have broke down more pivotal, not just the transition of where you seen the lead role. Excuse me, I don't remember all these names at this very moment. Like, I'm keeping K with you. I was going to look back, but I wasn't thinking about all that. I just knew how good this movie was, and I've been wanting to talk about it for a minute. So, you know what I'm doing. Like, I got to keep it a buck. Like, this was the transition of the girl and how she had going on, and she was going from the young, how she started at that age, to then at the same time who they hosted, just to throw off this thought process. The other lady, they were saying, well, she started off us when she was that young. Either way, she looked like she was about 13, and that little Spanish dude in the middle of that movie, I thought he was going to sleep with her. It was starting to get awkward. I was like, yeah, it's starting to feel real groomy. And then when the thing with the dress, it was starting to get real, like, no Diddy. Just gonna keep it like that. It was giving real no Diddy. So we, to move forward, that's why I say that transition and them identifying that was cool, and going from the fact of what she said, I'm gonna make sure I get the story even if it's your dead body, and how everything just kind of like roles reversed, on the imagery of death and everything else, and how it just kind of changed, and even how they identified the president as a dictator, and how they softened the Secret Service, which was like, we knew that was some foolery. Like, I just look at all those different things and how that was identified. Like, I just think overall, like, when I look at the state of art, the state of how everything was being ran, it was very it was one-sided. So that's why I said, like, when they identify certain people and different things in history, and they try to kind of just make it this bigger, almost like Seinfeld, I'm just gonna call it Seinfeld, dramatication of where the Civil War would have went in America. I just seen it with a whole different kind of mention, in my opinion. But the funny thing is, like, like the guy that asked a general question that I felt like was a pivotal moment, and even the movie, but just even just on a thought process as a person in America. And the guy who kind of like Jack Black, but played in another movie or show I seen him before, the blonde. He had a little platinum blonde with the little pink shades and everything, and it was burying those people that they just pretty much, the shit they did over in other countries, little side jobs, killing random people, just doing, evil shit. And the guy sat there and he asked a question just like in the middle of war, but just in this, even in the sense of like how we look at the American way. He said, he asked the people individually after they had him rung up and shit, because they caught a little girl and shit, right? I don't know if y'all seen the movie, but yeah, either way, they caught a little girl. And the Civil War shit, like they described it, and he talking to him, he asking everybody where they from. He asked the other dude, he's Spanish, he's, I think he was from Florida, he had the accent, he had like a Florida accent, he's like a Cuban dude, you know what I'm saying? And he asked the one girl, the little girl, he said, where you from? She was like, Missouri. And he was like, shit, ain't no more American than that. Like, and then the older lady, he asked her, and she was like, Colorado. He was like, that's pretty American. And finally, he goes and makes his rounds around everybody else. And he ends up asking this one guy, of course, he's Asian descent. And he asked the guy, and the guy, of course, Asian could be anywhere. You could be anything, anywhere. You could look like anything. You could be dark, light, don't matter. Same thing as any form of race. You can still, pigment doesn't play a pattern, but also the way you look doesn't play a certain pattern. Only based on where, if you from there, you can tell the difference. Like, who's who. So, the guy asked him, make a long story short, he says, hey, he said, what kind of American are you? And the guy looks at him, and the man said, China. So he gets shot. Of course, China. Why would you say China? You can have the fucking most Chinese accent you ever had in your life. You better create a fucking American accent. I started laughing. I'm like, shit, you should have just thought of something off the fly. I don't know why. When he said China, he said Hong Kong, they that. I said, oh, this motherfucker stupid. Like, he deserved to get shot. That was, look, he get double tapped. Like, that was just diabolical for the man to sit here and think he was just gonna sit here and say China to this motherfucking Jack Black refugee. I was like, this man lost his mind. So it's just those moments that played a part in the Civil War that made it so important, even down to the war scenes. Like, it was impactful, like the war scenes, the opportunity from the snipers, and how, how sniping can be just based on the fact that whoever's shooting at you, you shoot the fuck back. You don't even know what the fuck going on. You better shoot. Just war in general. Then just the overall, just the ability to where people were just shooting from different places, how, the defense of America, and just the everybody turning against each other. Just that overall just really did play a part in how I really seen this movie, and I was like, dang, this is going to be some very pivotal moments in which this movie is going to be developed on. And it just showed the fact of also, like, some things, they couldn't keep too much out there because there's too many ideas to really get there. We just trying to sell the story. But I like the whole identity of just the war and how everything was going through, and I really like when you pay attention to what was transitioning in that movie, and just looking at how people and resources, and how people act with resources, and how people act with one another when power shifts, and when food changes, and how currency changes, and how love and consistency can change. We look at these different things as Americans, and I'm looking at this movie and I'm like, okay, this is going to change a lot of different things in the viewership of, if you see this movie, it show you what kind of life could you live, and what kind of life people have had to live, especially like in countries who've experienced World War One, World War Two, their own civil wars, and how those things have changed the trajectory and changed and created a lot of trauma in people. So I just was driven by that film, and it just gave me so many different ideas and so many different ways. I felt so encouraged to speak on it, because I'm like, damn, this is a movie that if you haven't seen, I really say 9 out of 10, great film overall, great level of just reenacting moments where shit can really get dark, and then giving you then a situation where, damn, like it gets dark, but giving you different like perspectives and where you lay, but also just, for the fun of it, you get some good shooting at the shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta watch that. And I definitely say recommend that, and just overall, and it's a great film that I was very intrigued by. So I definitely hope everybody can catch that one. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a film that's just a lot of people never would have seen. But I knew I liked that for a lot of different things, a lot of different ways. Let's get it. You know what it is, man. You're looking for exposure, you want a shout out, that's going from your music, anything, your page, mostly businesses, things that you got going on. Look no further here, man. Barrel City Podcast, we got deals, big things about anything coming to advertisement. We advertise your show on the pod, advertise anything you got going on. Hit me up. Our page today on Barrel City Podcast on IG and TikTok. Transform your business, embrace the season of change. Y'all want something different, come here. We're going to make it happen. If you're looking for particular people, you want to put people on, you want to have somebody in front of the camera, you want to have opportunity, hit us up. You know what it is. Barrel City Podcast. You know what it is. Let's go. So yes, indeed. If you sat there and watched that NCAA basketball, man, I got to come and talk about that, man. We got the NBA draft coming up. So I just wanted to touch on that and just bring up in understanding how y'all experience was watching that. Like, overall, I ain't gonna lie. Men's ball didn't have me this year. I was a WNBA, women's basketball advocate. We watching Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Camilla, and so many more. Oh, Cameron Brink. Can't forget Shorty from out there at Iowa State. It was just a great tournament. We got Paige. Paige was out there hooping. It's a lot of good talent coming. Overall, it was a lot more talent than on the women's side than men's side. I don't know who gonna where gonna be who. I can't even tell you who the number 1 draft pick is. We can sit here and say, "Oh boy, from Purdue," we won't. But he shoot all right. He can space a little bit. He the first kind of Asian. They made Yao Ming in the lab. That motherfucker, Edie, I don't know. They can do everything they want to do to make this motherfucker somebody, but he ain't got all that we thinking. He throwing the pound, he gonna move that, but they're gonna run his ass in this NBA. Either way, he'll definitely be a great big, because you look at the NBA now, like, spacing was the shit. Like, when we look at the situation where, who overall was hooping and who wasn't hooping for the WNBA, it was just like, shit. You can tell like where the space was, but for like the NBA, like, it's so stacked and packed with like people that have talent. Like, it's people right now. That's why I said that expansion league, people are talking about, well, all them blowouts that happened like over this NBA season. just to cross over where this men's talent gonna go. It's hard, man. Like, people are filling the G League based on not even just on development. It's no roster spots. So I'm just thinking about all these different kids that's getting this opportunity to like make their dreams come true. And you gonna have to fight. You gonna have to fight to get your dreams to come true. Cause they ain't letting nobody and everybody get their opportunity. Cause they definitely putting you on the record for anything that you want. You gonna have to come and go get it. So with that transition, we thinking about Bronny James and how he's about to come into the NBA. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm just thinking about where we started at, just thinking about the whole James opportunity, where it's been like, us kids of the end of the 90s, mid 90s, coming out of Jordan, leading into Kobe, us being Kobe fans. And, I've always been a Kobe and LeBron fan. Both of them, I think both of them had their attributes to contribute to the game. But, looking at the impact of this men's basketball team going into now is going to be, the new era. Because, that man with that 2-3, that 6, he bought out the dough. So, we just looking at that and acknowledging where the league is going, where basketball is going generally. And I think WNBA, women's basketball, and most importantly, college women's basketball it's this new era. I think that's just the beauty of where we at. I'm really proud of that. I think we're just in a situation where, I've been watching the WNBA for like consistently maybe 4 years, shout out to the Aces. I definitely have paid attention to a lot of, great basketball. Becky Hammond has led a wonderful team to a championship for several times. Like, she's on a whole different category of like just coaching, like quality people, man. Like, people don't understand, like, Asia Wilson coming out here, being the legend she was in South Carolina, then coming into the NBA, she was out there with Liz Cambridge. Don't forget, it's her and Liz. They had an opportunity where, if you think about it, like, them was some powerful people. Like, they had a lot, but with Liz and the unfortunate situation with, trauma and the things that happened to us as adults, a lot of things had, transpired and had changed in the occasion of where we can get our, situation from and where our life come from. We got a lot of different things that have now contributed to the detriment of her career. And it really helped Asia Wilson get to develop her career in a lot of different ways. She had her room in there. Not saying Liz was the big turnaround, but that was the original person that was in that space. So, leading into now Asia being that person for these last few years, and she's been one of the most dominant players in the WNBA's history. One of them, we can never disrespect, the Maya Moore, the many other women that came before them as well. We're looking at this craft that has grown for several years. I know I'm missing some great women. Maya Moore, the first one came to my mind, that just had this game that could transition to the W and was able to transition if she had to play with the men, because she just had an ability to shoot that a lot of people think that Caitlin Clark had. Caitlin Clark is a great talent. She is a great talent, but Caitlin Clark is also a talent amongst a lot of great women. We're talking about, you're looking at Caitlin Clark, right? Which is so crazy. And I'm going to just put it in the perspective for a lot of people to, segue into Caitlin Clark and the WNBA stats overall. But I also want to just consider and point out another thing that was, highly anticipated. A lot of people ain't thinking about is, we're disrespecting one of the greatest, record wise, as well as just in general, just play right now in her 20th season, and somebody that people were considering the snub in a lot of different ways in Diana Taurasi. You gotta understand. You gotta understand. Kobe acknowledged Diana Taurasi. Kobe acknowledged Diana Taurasi. You niggas is loving Kobe so much and loving everything else and disrespecting the game. But Kobe acknowledged Diana Taurasi before he even had daughters. He knew her game was legit. There's a lot of people knew her game was legit. A lot of people have been playing with a lot of different names. You know, Sue Bird, you know, Becky Hammond played her role in this league. And people talking about, well, we don't care about all those things. We don't care about what, you know, they've been contributing to this league. It's all about Caitlyn. Listen, I love the game of Caitlyn. What I don't like is her fan base. Every single one of her fans, if it ain't pick me black dudes, I'm gonna call y'all out too. Any of y'all Negroes that's out here loving on that woman based on the fact that if you talking about her talent that much more and you can't even tell me who's the best player in the early 90s. You disrespect Candace Parker for sure, because y'all sit there and say it ain't nobody was paying attention, y'all, and y'all have a ability to sit there and he ha ha on Twitter with Candace Parker on TNT when she was out there with Shaq. You know, y'all was out here loving her game on the low, but y'all saying y'all wasn't watching her game is crazy. You sit here and disrespecting Sue Bird. You know, Breonna Stewart won with Sue Bird, got a championship out there. You disrespected Maya Moore. She's done more for the criminal justice system. You gotta remember, she wasn't even making that much money. She throwing money, taking care of a whole bunch of different tribes. She bringing awareness to, you know, Black Lives Matter before Black Lives Matter. She was bringing up things about incarceration of black men. But you see, we forget those little minimal things. We just think all about entertainment. That's why a lot of y'all broke. We're not going to talk on that subject, but a lot of y'all broke. A lot of y'all talking about this game. Y'all talk about Caitlin Clark. A lot of y'all broke. And I'm not even just talking about y'all pocket. I'm talking about y'all mindset. It's just overall, y'all just not living like y'all hope you living. You know, I don't know who raised y'all. Not too many people did. You can tell, because then you look at the fact of the other people that celebrate Caitlin Clark. Listen, it's the 80s to me right now. This is the 80s. This is 80s basketball. Caitlin Clark is Larry Bird. This is the example of why America, going back to in my comment, even the backtrack to Civil War, there's a divide between brown and white people, okay? It's always going to be a divide, because something in that wiring go all the way back really further than what we think. We don't know. We don't have no understanding, but I'm just going to tell you, it's a lot of things y'all need to pick your history books up on. And I think the fact of the Larry Bird and Magic thing built on race divide. White people love Larry Bird. Black people love Magic. It was a West Coast against the East Coast thing. Sound like Tupac Biggie, but listen, we're not on that right now. So that's what I'm saying. Like, overall, we're looking at this craft. We're looking at women who have developed so many talents, have done so much work to get to the next level. They wasn't getting paid that based on the fact that they wasn't making the money. It wasn't the fact that just over the fact they just wasn't entertaining. They're very entertaining. We've all been watching. Them record numbers ain't just coming just on the fact we watching Caitlin Clark. Yes, white people are watching Caitlin Clark. Yes, I'm going to say it's white people. Yes, I'm going to say it's picking black people. And yes, I'm going to say it's a bunch of racists. So it's the first time in history where you actually got the racists and then you got slaves who all support the same system. I'm just saying it's buffoonery. But at the end of the day, it's not even just on her talent. That's why a lot of people are mad at her too. That's why I want to go and talk about the Caitlin Clark thing, deviating also into WNBA and women's basketball itself. I want to go and touch up on the situation with Caitlin Clark and the flagrant fouls, involving the fact of where the punishment is coming from is not just based on a sense of just jealousy. Yes, people are tired of talking about her. Yes, she need to sit there and tell her fans, I don't want that fuck shit. Y'all getting me fucked up out here. Because at the end of the day, it's the 80s, baby. If y'all want the NBA, or you want the good basketball, y'all might want to be quiet. Or let me let y'all know, shut the fuck up. We're just going to keep it just like that. We've been kind with y'all. Shut up. Y'all don't know nothing about the sport. Y'all don't care about the sport. Don't watch the sport. We don't care. If you don't like women, cool. It's, that's y'all thing. I like women. I like women's sports. I like female athletes at the highest level, performing at the highest level, doing what they do. And I support women fully in effect of them inequality on the sense of playing a sport. We can sit here and say we just came back from Women's Appreciation Month and none of us are appreciating women. Just gonna call it what it is. That's the ones who really matter. We support one woman. Listen, Justice League had one woman. I see that. Wonder Woman's the main female protagonist at this point because it seems like that's what y'all want. Y'all don't want multiple women to come in the door. Y'all just want to have one single woman that y'all can consider as a white snowflake that isn't that good. Based on even on the fact that her stats, she's played more games than everybody. She's taking more shots than everybody. She's doing more than everybody. You gotta understand, it's all great marketing. Yes, it could be more. I got mad at the No Chill podcast. Shout out to, Gilbert. This is my own shit now, Gilbert. But I wanted to have my own point on this situation. I was mad by the fact that I'm trying to consider the fact that the sport is going to move forward if everybody lets her win. That's the most disrespectful shit you can ever say to any person, female, male, in between, anything. You sit there and tell somebody, oh, you need to let this person win based on pride alone. That's crazy. Magic and Larry didn't let nobody. It wasn't no fact that they was just a cash cow. You gonna let them win. Them niggas caught elbows. Them niggas caught bows, elbows, hands, headbutts, body slams. Listen, Caitlyn gotta get out the mud. Y'all keep trying to babysit her, and she ain't gonna develop the way y'all want her to develop. You think Steph Curry made it just off the fact that he's just talent? There was a lot of things that got in the fact that Steph Curry. Jordan, you knew he just came from the coke era. Most of them boys was doing the sugar and dribbling. So can't talk about that. You want to talk about Kobe and Shaq. Kobe was probably the last person y'all ever gonna hear about that had the mentality of somebody that was consistent in the fact that he didn't give a fuck about what any of y'all talking about. It don't matter what y'all say about woman mentality. He didn't give a fuck if y'all fucked with it, you didn't. His mindset. Kobe was based on mindset. Caitlyn has to find something that's going to identify her as different, that is going to be that pinnacle, even to sell. You can't just sell a product that if it doesn't have a mentality. She ain't got no mentality. What she got? Privileged girl mentality? KKK mentality? Because that's what's following her. Unfortunately, her success is based on racism. It's too much of a detriment to her own brand of the fact that she's gonna always be catalyst. They wanted to do that with Sabrina, but Sabrina was not white enough. Even though she was playing an organ and doing all that, Sabrina didn't have that white that seasoning to her. That girl played at Iowa. You see how big her head is. You see how skinny she is. She's sellable to white people in the sense of their daughters being somebody athletic that wasn't considered to be not of the pride community. You see, they have they pickiness on that. It's still a hate that is over so many different things. So that's why I said we looking at the stats and everything. Like, even when we look at the different rookies, she gets more minutes than most of the rookies in the league, other than you talking about when we sit here and talk about the other women, both the women from LA, first and foremost. So I got to call out these names. I ain't going to lie. Hold up. Rakia Jackson. Rakia Jackson, she gets a lot of minutes. She's played 14 games. She's been a pinnacle move on their team. High level of efficiency. She's shooting 47% field goal percentage. A lot of people don't want to talk about Rakia. Rakia's out here putting a lot of goddamn points up too. 10 points and 3.4 rebounds on the Sparks team. Now I'm just saying, like, they rebuilding, but they done came back from the fact that them like getting rid of I think they lost like 2 or 3 stars, and they look good. They're gonna be better next year. Then you want to talk about the fact of we're gonna go already to Chicago. Camilla, she coming off with 7 games. She got 8 points, 6 rebounds, 48% field goals. She's already sat here and shown that just missing from the time she had, she's gonna be a great dominator over the time to come, just defensively. Then gotta go back to LA. Cameron Brink, she got 14 games, 8 points, 5.7 rebounds, 2.5 blocks. She's up there with blocks. She's up in the top 5 in blocks with a rookie. So, she's already leading the rookies in a fact of just being a dominant, just a good floor general and defensive killer. And then I got to give shout outs to Kate Martin. Because Kate Martin don't even play no pivotal moments, Like in the sense, like her stats don't jump off no walls. Like she's averaging 12 minutes. She runs the floor good. And the fact that, the Aces need a guard. Their point guard's out. So you're looking at this system where a lot of these people are not going to have the things that they need. You're looking at the different rookies who just are not getting that many minutes based on that. They're on a team that, one, ain't probably utilizing them appropriately. That's going down to Mystics. The Mystics, they lost everybody. We looking at Aaliyah Edwards coming from UConn. She's doing a lot. She's still averaging 52% field goal percentage, and still is out here like top earning points, rebounds, and stuff like that. Like she hooping, But the biggest thing, we looking at Caitlin Clark, 15 games, cool. 16 points, cool. 5 rebounds, cool. 6 assists, cool. Shooting 38%, okay? You know what that means? She's chucking up a lot of damn shots, okay? A lot of y'all don't want to understand she's throwing up a lot of motherfucking shots. And y'all want to sit here and call her some form of a GOAT. I'm going to tell you right now, that girl is not no damn GOAT. I don't know what y'all think. Y'all seeing right now, the biggest thing y'all going to sit here and hear is she has to establish a shooting rhythm. Listen here, man. She has a terrible coach, first and foremost. She don't got bad teammates, but shit, it's hard to defend somebody that's damn near so unlikable like her. Because every time you get on Twitter, people acting talking about you jealous of this motherfucking girl. Listen, ain't nobody jealous of that damn girl. She is talented, but she is not established yet. Y'all keep trying to establish this girl somewhere that she's not right now. She's not it. She's not that girl. Not yet. Give her time to get to be that girl. It's only the first year. Y'all want her to be so great, but that's why I said, going back to Gilbert talking about all these people like, you should quit. Y'all should sit here and let them, because we weren't paying attention for that. Listen, you're a grown man who made a lot of money. You got a woman on your team who sits on your couch, and you sitting there gonna tell her initially, somebody you supposed to respect, somebody you going to see in her arena, in her space, and you had the audacity to speak on something and say she should sit there and bow down to this white woman. And that's why that nigga be motherfucking, he be moving weird, because he let that money get weird. Listen, bro, you better off broke, bruh. You better off broke, because you don't stand for something, you don't stand for nothing at all. And at the end of the day, as an athlete and as somebody that played a sport, ain't no fucking way you sat there and didn't lay your ass down for Kobe. You sat there and gave Kobe 60, and Kobe was that nigga. You should let Kobe give you 90, nigga. How he talking? He talking shit. If you elevating the sport, the marketing on Kobe jerseys should have been higher than your jerseys. That ain't what it was. Thinking you a killer. How you gonna be hibachi and you out here trying to tell the girls to sell sushi? That's motherfucking weird, nigga. Like, you telling them to stay in the kitchen and roll seaweed. That's crazy. So that's why I'm saying, like, overall, Caitlin ain't bad. Her stats ain't bad. She's doing a lot of shooting. She's the main contributor on shooting a lot of things. But also, she's also the person that has the most weight on her, and nobody's giving her criticism on the fact that she's shooting crazy ass shots. Sometimes she comes on screens a little crazy. She complained a lot that she got winding down. I think low key, if she started dating somebody that's in the league, she should date Luka, because goddamn it, they might be able to create a crybaby. The fuck out of here. All they do is cry. But shout out to Luka and Kyrie. But I'm just saying, like, we looking at this whole overall craft. I'm like, these people really playing. The star on this, and I'm going to have to call it 100, because the person played 13, 14 games and is a rookie, but is averaging a double-double. You know what it is. It's Angel Reese. The girl has 12.1 points, which is damn near the most points other than I think is, I think she got the most fucking points as a rookie. Yeah, most points as a rookie. And then on top of that, she having the most points as a rookie other than Caitlin Clark, who's taking up 16.1 with a 38.3 shooting percentage compared to a 37.1. She's averaging 12 points a game, 10 rebounds, 1.8 steals, and she's damn near like 6th, 7th, or 8th in the league with blocks. Like, yeah, bro, like, she ain't playing. That 6'3" forward is making some motion. But people ain't trying to hear none of that. That's what I'm saying. Like, overall, we looking at a different craft on how the game is being played. And people aren't even paying attention to the fact that this girl is really hooping. But you see, they don't talk about Angel Reese because they don't like that Negro. They don't like black women. They don't like her lashes. They don't like her hair. They talk about her on there. I sat there. Don't get me wrong. I've been shadow banned so many times on Instagram. So y'all shouldn't even worry about the fact that me even talking on there no more. Because I'm so tired of some of you Negroes. You big nose Negroes be acting like y'all can't look in the mirror and see y'all mama. It's just getting weird. I don't know what's going on. But y'all support this white woman a little too much. Don't get me wrong. Every woman's fine. Every woman got her own thing. But it's a certain level where you got to understand, like, you nut ragging on a particular woman is kind of crazy. Like, these niggas is jock riding this girl. Caitlin Clark got more black dick just chasing her for the fact that just ain't even her talent. Like, y'all just chasing off of weird shit. Like, it's weird. Like, y'all niggas is weird. Like, that's why I said, why are y'all even looking at this platform and looking at this level of basketball with so much scrutiny? Like, they talking about, well, they trying her too hard, they hit her too hard. This guy motherfucking, the way they choked motherfucking Angel Reese out, when that girl caught her ass and choked her down and hit that slam, listen, every rookie get their ass whooped. Alright, they even talked about Candace Parker getting her ass whooped. Everybody get a little L. But y'all be acting like motherfuckers don't catch no L in this league. They acting like this league too tough. They tougher than the niggas, okay? I watch Jason Tatum complain, and I ain't even get started about how this nigga be complaining, and this nigga can't hit shit. But overall, I'm just over the whole scrutiny where they out here downplaying the black woman, and it ain't even on the fact that her attributes or her talent. It ain't even about talent no more with her. Y'all beefing with her over just straight bull swanky. Ain't nothing on her that y'all can't even touch. But y'all want to sit here and talk about she a thug, she different that. You gotta understand, it's sports, and if at the end of the day, if you taking everything personal and you ain't the person playing on the court, you got a personal problem. I think that's just all what it is. You know, I'm just somebody that just knows that this is a sport, this is a level of competition, this is women playing at the best competition that I've seen. I've been saying women's basketball has been way more advanced for about 4 years now, where I can watch a game where people actually, they call traveling, they call moving screens, they call people motherfucking up and down, they call the plays that they supposed to call in basketball. Y'all around here so worried about the men's game. That shit is all showmanship. Like, all that shit is fucking circus ball, because that's all y'all can pay attention to. I'm just saying, listen, y'all watching the NBA like TikTok. That's what I'm seeing. Y'all don't watch real fucking sports no more. Y'all don't watch the shit go all the way through. That's why I said the men's NCAA fell off this year, because ain't no real talent left out here. That shit ain't got oversaturated. Take your ass overseas, young bull, because the NBA so fucking full. That's what they thinking about them expanding teams, because if y'all end up, I'm going to talk about that in another video. But like I said, the Caitlin Clark shit gotta go. We gotta stop playing like we don't see the talent in all these women as a whole, not just as an individual, but as a whole. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like we as a people and a country that's to be considered superior and good in some way, we have too many opportunities where we're actually downplaying each other and downplaying especially young women who are seeking success. And that's why I said this is the women's turn to actually have their time. This is the what we call this the silver era of basketball. The MJ's coming. MJ got what? Good 8 years from now, we're gonna get an MJ shorty. And Caitlin Clark gonna be a story that we're gonna talk about. That was a good beginning, but the girl that's gonna come out to be that MJ is about to come around the corner, and I'm so ready for it. First and foremost, I want to shout out my citation. Jamil Hill read her article. A lot of this information I got was from her article on the fact of just the different men who spoke out on the craft, especially Charles Barkley. I ain't even gonna talk about that that overlooking ass, illiterate ass nigga from Alabama. That nigga's a slave. He get a quick shout out. That's it. But overall, like, I shot her content. She had a very great article on that. That I recommend anybody, if you were watching or listening to anything I had going on The Atlantic. She wrote an article for The Atlantic. So, like I said, it was a great article. Very much excited for it. And just I'm excited just overall by the means of how this sport has grown, and just looking at everything just significantly, and just knowing that you can see some rookies on the list that are actually like up there and tied for high achieving awards. We seen some really great players. I can't forget about what Shorty that played for Dallas. Gotta get her a shout out. Shout out to Skylar Diggins, coming back from pregnancy leave. She out here still. She about 5th on the assist list. McBride, she has many threes. More threes than Plum and Tarasi. It's just so much great basketball going on. So I'm just proud to be around to see women's basketball reach this level, and just overall just get their flowers out to them as quick as I can. You know what I'm saying? But if you following it, listening to it, you got on to this, man, I appreciate y'all. Welcome to the first episode of the Barrel City Podcast, man. You know how we did it. We got it. We ripped it. We got it done. I appreciate you if you listen to it. Give me your feedback on any of the things I spoke on, and I love y'all. Speak deeply to y'all. Give y'all peace, transparency. I just think everything just comes down to the situation where we at. God is in all glory. Situations always in means. Y'all know who it is. You got it. It is. Keep it real. You know what I mean. And keep loving your heart, big dog. Yeah. Big dogs out.